everybody. Good evening. So Heather and I had a chance to talk, and we talked about something that we wanted to share that was pretty impactful for us when we were doing some training, and it has to do with something called the Dash. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this poem, but we literally had gone through a training, and the idea of the Dash was mentioned. And so we wanted to share a little bit of that reality as we close the sneak peek out. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you for following along. And we want to leave you with this thought, as you go and make your decision on where you might fall. This is a poem called The Dash by a woman named Linda Ellis. And I'm going to just read this literally off the screen because if I tried to memorize it or anything like that, it probably would not go so well. So here it begins. It says, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend, and he referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For the dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live. This is tough to get through. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way that other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they'd say about how you spent your dash? So this was pretty hard for me to get through. I didn't think that was going to happen. But this is reality. My coach who brought me in is having a big battle. And one of the reasons that I do this, I think, is because I do genuinely care about people. And that's why people get into this. They care about, number one, themselves, and then they also care about people. But for her, she is very inspirational. A very, very inspirational friend of mine, personal friend of mine. And she's battling cancer and probably will not make it very much longer. So this was actually really hard for me to get through as I read it. So one thing that I ask of you is to think about how will you spend your dash?